Every day, more than 2 billion people warm up their leftovers, trusting that as long as the food gets hot enough, it's safe. That assumption is putting lives at risk. Here's a number worth remembering. 1 in 6. That's the share of cancer cases worldwide that scientists now link to dietary habits, including how food is stored, reheated, and eaten. Research published in CA, a cancer journal for clinicians, identifies poor diet as the second biggest controllable cancer risk factor globally, trailing only tobacco, and yet, almost nobody discusses what actually happens at a molecular level when certain foods go through a second round of heating, whether in a microwave or on a stove. These chemical changes happen silently. You can't see them, you can't smell them, but they're taking place inside your food and soon after, inside your body. I'm Dr. William, and for more than 15 years, I've researched nutritional biochemistry and its connection to preventive oncology. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 foods you're almost certainly reheating right now. Foods likely sitting in your fridge at this very moment, that undergo verified chemical changes when warmed a second time. Changes tied to a measurable cancer risk. Stick around until the end, because the 4th food is one that most health-conscious people assume is perfectly harmless. That assumption couldn't be more wrong. Before going further, understand this isn't about a minor stomachache or a short bout of food poisoning. We're talking about the gradual buildup of cancer-linked compounds in your body over months and years, the kind of quiet damage that often stays hidden until it's hard to undo. Cancer doesn't appear overnight. It builds slowly, step by step. The raw materials of that process, free radicals, advanced glycation end products, nitrosamines, and byproducts of fat breakdown, frequently enter your system not through smoke or pollution, but straight from your own kitchen. The World Health Organization has placed several compounds formed during the reheating of specific foods into Group 1 or Group 2, a carcinogen categories. Group 1 means the evidence that a substance causes cancer in people is conclusive. Group 2A means it's probably cancer-causing in humans. These aren't hypothetical worries. They're documented reactions happening in kitchens everywhere, whenever the wrong foods get reheated the wrong way. Here's the part that should really grab your attention. The people most at risk aren't eating unusual diets. They're everyday people making what they believe are smart choices: lean meats, cooked vegetables, rice, and eggs. These 4 categories are exactly what we're covering today. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your leftovers the same way again. Let me quickly explain my background, not to impress you, but because in a world full of health misinformation, you deserve to know who's speaking and why their words should carry weight. I trained in internal medicine, then completed advanced fellowship work in nutritional biochemistry. Over 15 years, my research has centered on how cooking techniques, heat, storage, and reheating change the molecular makeup of macronutrients and create byproducts that interact with our DNA and cellular processes. For this video, I reviewed hundreds of peer-reviewed studies. Everything I say is backed by research published in respected journals including Food Chemistry, the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, Carcinogenesis, and the Lancet Oncology. I'll break down the mechanisms in plain language, because the science here is solid, and you deserve to understand it clearly. I'm not selling supplements or courses. I'm sharing this because prevention starts with knowledge, and this information could genuinely protect you and the people you care about. Before naming specific foods, I need to give you a short but crucial primer on food chemistry. Don't skip this part, it's the foundation for everything that follows. The first time food is cooked, heat triggers predictable, generally harmless reactions. Proteins unfold, starches soften, fats blend, normal stuff. But reheating food that's already been through this process, especially after sitting in the fridge for hours or days, sets off a very different chain of reactions. First, oxidation. Fats and proteins exposed to oxygen during storage become unstable. A second round of heat pushes these already weakened molecules to break down further into lipid peroxides and malondialdehyde, substances well known for damaging DNA. Second, a Maillard reaction that goes too far. This reaction is what gives cooked food its flavor and golden brown color. But repeated high heat exposure of proteins and sugars can generate advanced glycation end products, or AGs, compounds linked to chronic inflammation, a major driver behind cancer development. Third, nitrite formation. Some foods naturally rich in nitrates undergo bacterial changes while sitting in the fridge. Reheating converts those nitrates into nitrites, which can then turn into nitrosamines, substances the WHO classifies as likely or confirmed carcinogens. 3 mechanisms to remember: oxidation, glycation, and nitrosamine formation. Keep them in mind because you'll see at least one show up in every food we cover. Food number 1, leftover rice. Rice feeds more people than almost any other staple on the planet. Over 3 billion rely on it daily, and countless people reheat leftovers every single day, a habit woven into nearly every culture. But there's a real issue here, one that has less to do with reheating itself and more to do with what happens while the rice sits in the fridge between cookings. As cooked rice cools, it turns into a near-perfect breeding ground for Bacillus cereus, a bacterium naturally present in raw rice that survives cooking and multiplies quickly if the rice sits out or stays refrigerated too long. Reheating may kill the bacteria, but it won't destroy the heat-resistant toxins they've already released. Those toxins make it through the microwave, through the stove, and straight into your gut. The bacterial threat is serious, but it's not the main cancer concern. That distinction belongs to a toxin called cerulide, produced by Bacillus cereus, which studies show can damage mitochondria inside human cells. Mitochondrial damage is considered one of the earliest steps that can push a healthy cell toward becoming cancerous. There's another, less talked about issue with reheated rice. Repeated heating of starchy foods raises acrylamide levels, a compound formed when natural sugars react with the amino acid asparagine under high heat. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies acrylamide as a group 2A carcinogen, meaning it's probably cancer-causing in humans. So what should you do? Cook rice fresh whenever you can. If you must store it, spread it thin on a tray right after cooking so it cools fast, refrigerate within an hour, eat it within 24 hours, and never reheat it more than once. Food number 2. Leftover chicken. Here's something surprising. Chicken is the world's favorite lean protein, recommended by doctors, dietitians, trainers, and health-conscious families everywhere. And when it ends up as leftovers, almost everyone reheats it. That's exactly where the trouble starts. When animal proteins face high heat a second time, they go through protein oxidation, which produces compounds called heterocyclic amines, or HCAs. These aren't a fringe concern. They're among the most studied dietary carcinogens out there. Once inside the body, liver enzymes convert HCAs into highly reactive substances that can bind directly to DNA, causing mutations. When those mutations hit tumor suppressor genes, that's one of the core ways cancer gets its start. A well-known study in carcinogenesis found that people who often ate well-done or reheated poultry had a notably higher risk of colorectal cancer. Separately, researchers at Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health linked frequent consumption of reheated processed chicken to a greater risk of pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancers with a 5-year survival rate of just 11%. Foods 3 and 4 are the ones people get most wrong. Food number 3 mainly affects people who pride themselves on eating clean. Food number 4 is something doctors and nutritionists routinely recommend, yet almost nobody knows the risks tied to reheating it. If you find this kind of evidence-based, practical health content useful, consider subscribing. I post a new video every week, each one built the same way. Peer-reviewed research translated into information you can actually use. No hype, no supplements, no hidden agenda, just the science and what it means for you. Food number 3. Spinach and other nitrate-rich leafy greens. Spinach is easily one of the most praised vegetables in healthy eating, packed with iron, folate, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants. Nutritionists, oncologists, and cardiologists all encourage eating more of it. And they're right, as long as it's fresh or cooked once and eaten right away. Problems start when spinach gets stored and then reheated. Along with celery, beets, lettuce, and Swiss chard, spinach is one of the richest natural sources of dietary nitrates. In their original form, these nitrates are actually good for you, supporting heart health and healthy blood pressure. But once cooked spinach sits in the fridge, bacteria naturally present on the leaves begin converting those nitrates into nitrites, the same conversion that happens in cured meats, and part of why the WHO classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen back in 2015. When spinach that's been refrigerated for a day or more gets reheated, you're applying heat to a vegetable that has already undergone significant nitrate to nitrite conversion. That heat can trigger those nitrites to react with amino acids in the spinach, and later in your stomach forming nitrosamines, some of the most potent dietary carcinogens known to science. Animal studies show they can trigger cancer even at very low doses, and human studies consistently link high nitrosamine exposure to higher rates of stomach, esophageal, and colorectal cancer. This isn't speculation either. The European Food Safety Authority has issued formal guidance on nitrate and nitrite exposure from vegetables, specifically flagging the risks of reheating nitrate-rich vegetables after storage. The irony is hard to ignore. One of the healthiest foods on the planet can turn into a carcinogen source purely because of a storage and reheat habit millions of health-conscious people repeat weekly. What should you do instead? Cook leafy greens fresh whenever you can and eat them right away. Got leftovers? Eat them cold within a few hours. Don't refrigerate cooked spinach planning to reheat it later. If you have no choice but to store it, keep it airtight, eat it within 6 hours, and skip the reheating, just eat it cold. Food number 4, eggs. I promised this one would surprise you, and here it is. Eggs are about as nutritionally complete as food gets, containing all 9 essential amino acids, plenty of choline for brain function, selenium for antioxidant defense, and lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect both eyes and cells. By nearly every measure, eggs rank among the healthiest foods around. But reheating them, especially scrambled or hard-boiled, creates a specific chemical issue that almost nobody talks about. Eggs are roughly 13% fat, most of it in the yolk. When first cooked, that yolk fat goes through an initial round of oxidation, completely normal. But once a cooked egg is refrigerated and then reheated at high temperature, those already oxidized fats undergo a second, much faster round of oxidation. The resulting byproducts, malondaldehyde and oxysterols, are well documented in scientific literature. Oxysterols in particular have drawn serious research attention lately. They're oxidized forms of cholesterol that form specifically when cholesterol-containing foods are heated repeatedly. A major review in Food and Chemical Toxicology concluded that oxysterols carry pro-atherogenic, pro-inflammatory, and critically, cytotoxic and genotoxic effects on human cells. That word genotoxic matters a lot. It means damaging to your DNA. Genotoxic compounds are considered potential carcinogens because they can cause DNA strand breaks and mutations, the starting point for cancer. There's another wrinkle with reheated eggs. Exposing already cooked egg proteins to high heat again, especially in a microwave, causes further protein denaturation, forming abnormal cross-links that are harder for your gut to digest. Some research also points to degradation of the sulfur-containing amino acids cysteine and methionine during repeated heating, with breakdown products potentially adding to oxidative stress in the digestive tract lining. That's not a small thing. Ongoing oxidative stress in the gut lining is considered one of the key mechanisms behind colorectal cancer, the third most common cancer worldwide and responsible for nearly 1 million deaths a year. What should you do instead? Eat eggs right after cooking whenever possible. If you're prepping ahead, keep hard-boiled eggs in their shells and eat them cold. Skip microwaving scrambled eggs or omelets. If you must warm an egg dish, use gentle indirect heat like a warm water bath or a very low oven, and never push it past 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Honestly, when I first dug into the research on reheated food, reading through the science on nitrosamines, heterocyclic amines, and oxysterols, my first reaction wasn't fear, it was frustration. This information isn't secret. It's sitting in peer-reviewed journals and official guidance from EFSA, the WHO, and public health bodies worldwide. Yet it almost never makes it to people's kitchens in plain, usable language. Billions of people make reheating decisions every day, not out of carelessness, but because nobody ever told them. Kids eat reheated rice, spinach, and eggs in school lunches 5 days a week. Older adults living alone reheat leftover chicken because it's convenient. Fitness-focused people eat reheated meal prep containers daily, convinced they're doing everything right, with no idea their food's chemistry has shifted since it was first cooked. None of them are doing anything wrong, they simply didn't know. Now you do. And that's the whole point of this channel and this video. not to scare you away from food, but to hand you practical, evidence-based knowledge so you can make better choices and to close the gap between what science already knows and what most people have actually heard. So let's pull it all together. 4 foods, 4 distinct biological mechanisms, 1 clear takeaway: what you eat and how you handle it matters. Rice. Reheating can reactivate heat-stable toxins from Bacillus cereus and boost acrylamide formation as sugars react with amino acids under repeated heat. Mechanism: bacterial toxin activity plus acrylamide formation. Potential cancer link: mitochondrial damage and exposure to a probable group 2A carcinogen. Chicken. Reheating at high heat drives heterocyclic amine formation through protein oxidation, alongside lipid oxidation byproducts like malondialdehyde. Mechanism: protein and lipid oxidation. Potential cancer link: directed DNA interaction from HCAs, raising colorectal and pancreatic cancer risk. Spinach and other leafy greens. Bacteria convert nitrates to nitrites during storage, and reheating can push those nitrites toward nitrosamine formation. Mechanism: nitrate to nitrite to nitrosamine conversion. Potential cancer link: nitrosamine exposure tied to stomach, esophageal, and colorectal cancers. Eggs. Repeated heating of yolk fat and cholesterol drives oxysterol formation, along with secondary lipid oxidation. Mechanism: cholesterol and lipid oxidation. Potential cancer link: DNA damage, gut oxidative stress, and elevated colorectal cancer risk. 3 core biochemical patterns keep showing up across the most commonly reheated foods on Earth: nitrosamine formation, lipid and protein oxidation, and bacterial toxin activation. This isn't scare tactics, it's food biochemistry backed by consistent, rigorous research. Here's exactly what to do with this information. Simple steps requiring no supplements or drastic changes, just smarter habits that meaningfully cut your long-term exposure. Cook rice fresh when you can. If storing it, cool within an hour, refrigerate right away, eat within 24 hours, and never reheat it twice. Eat leftover chicken cold in salads or wraps when possible. If you must reheat, keep it low, and don't overheat past the safe internal temperature. Skip reheating spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens, or celery altogether. Eat them cold or cook fresh, and store cooked greens no longer than 6 hours before eating cold. Cook eggs fresh when you can. Store hard-boiled eggs unpeeled and eat cold. Never microwave egg dishes. A food thermometer helps too, staying under 165 degrees Fahrenheit. When reheating cuts down on a lot of these compounds compared to blasting things with high heat. Never reheat anything more than once. 1 cook, 1 reheat, then toss it. Favor a low oven over a microwave for reheating protein, since microwaves create uneven hotspots that speed up oxidation. And plan portions to generate fewer leftovers in the first place. Honestly, the single most effective change you can make. Before wrapping up, I'd genuinely like to know which of these 4 surprised you most. Rice, the food almost everyone reheats without thinking twice. Chicken, the protein millions treat as their go-to healthy choice. Spinach, the vegetable every health expert tells you to eat more of. Or eggs. Drop your answer in the comments. And if there's a food you'd like investigated next, one you eat often or reheat regularly, let me know that too. I read every comment, and they genuinely shape future videos on this channel. One last thing before I go. Think of someone in your life who reheats leftovers without a second thought. A parent, a sibling, a college student living on meal prep chicken and rice. A partner reheating spinach all week. Or someone microwaving scrambled eggs every morning from a Sunday batch. They don't know what you know now. And you can fix that in under 10 seconds just by sharing this video, not to scare them, not to lecture them, just to give them the same information you now have. They deserve the chance to make informed choices about their health too. The research is real, the risks are real, and the fixes are refreshingly simple. Share this because preventing cancer isn't just a personal job, it's something we can help each other with. As always, one final note. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only, not personal medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. It reflects peer-reviewed research available at the time this was made, and food science keeps evolving, so recommendations may shift as new evidence comes in. Please talk to your doctor, dietitian, or another qualified professional before making major changes to your diet, especially with any existing health conditions. This channel exists to translate complex research into clear, practical, evidence-based information, not to replace your doctor, not to spread fear, but to make sure the same evidence available to researchers and public health experts is available to you too, because you deserve complete, accurate information about your own health. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. William, and I'll see you in the next one.